Hello everyone. Today we are diving into Python. In this video we will understand the basics of Python. Now let's look at the agenda. First up, what's Python? We will cover its cool features, why it's loved, and what makes it stand out. And next, Python interpreter. Moving further, we will discuss the difference between interpreter and a compiler. Also the working of Python interpreter, and we will explore the installation and execution of Python interpreter. After which we will circle back to the concept of Python being an interpreted language. What does that mean, and how does Python support for object-oriented programming fit into the picture? Along with that, we will discuss what is interactive Python, and then let's put our knowledge into test. I will demonstrate how to execute commands directly in Python interpreter in interactive mode. Transitioning from interactive mode, we will explore Python in script mode. Without further ado, let's get started. First, what's Python? Python is a general purpose high-level interpreted language with easy syntax and dynamic semantics. Its high-level built-in data structures combined with dynamic typing and dynamic binding make it very attractive for rapid application development. Also, it is used as a scripting or a glue language to connect existing components together. Python was created by Guido van Rossum in 1989. Python is ranked as the third most prominent language, followed by JavaScript and Java in a survey held in 2018 by Stack Overflow. And it serves as proof to it being the most growing language. And why it is so popular? The development of Python started out as a hobby for its creator. He wanted to make a language that was beautiful to look and easy for everybody to read. So he used indentations instead of curly braces to describe the blocks of code. The language went on but did not receive love as it was slow compared to other programming languages. Now with the rise of machine learning and artificial intelligence, Python has come into the spotlight because it makes the work much more productive and much more easier. Well, it is because of its amazing computing power. Now let's see why Python is popular compared to other programming languages. Because Python is the best language to get started off with. Its easy syntax and high-level features makes the Python a best language. Maybe kids or veterans, it is the language for everybody. The next reason is Python is an open source language, meaning that it is free for anybody to use. Moving further, Python is allowed to make almost anything, like GUI applications, web applications, mobile app, server-side coding, artificial intelligence, machine learning algorithms that you want to make. Python will always have the way to do it. Lastly, there is a huge community of people who come together to make the libraries and modules that can be used to obtain a solution. For example, machine learning algorithms are already available and you can use them to obtain your solutions better. So your productivity right up there and your code is much lesser. Now let's see the features of Python. Simplicity is the most well-known feature of Python. It is simple because it thinks more for your solution rather than syntax. And the next feature is open source, which means it is free for anybody to use. Modifications to Python are also allowed without any problems. And that brings us to the next feature, which is portability. Python supports portability, which means the code can be shared. Our next feature is embedding properties. Python can have snippets of other languages inside it to perform certain functions. Next feature is interpretation. Python code is interpreted line by line, which means management of memory and CPU and debugging of code is much more simple. Python supports huge number of libraries, which would help you to obtain solution to your problems. You can start it off with data science and web development on the go with Python. Python supports OOPs so that you can make a real world problem into a code. And these are the features of Python. Now let's see Python interpreter. Python interpreter is your code's personal translator. Python interpreter is a program that understands and runs your Python code. It reads the instruction you have written and makes them understandable to your computer. It is a middleman between you and your computer. It takes the human readable code you write and converts into a language the computer can execute. So when you run your Python script, the interpreter reads each line and translate into a form the computer can execute, called bytecode. This bytecode is further translated into machine readable instructions, which are specific commands that the computer processor understands. So the Python interpreter acts as a translator, ensuring that your ideas written in Python can be executed by your computer. Now let's discuss the difference between compiler and interpreter in Python. Both interpreters and compilers are the programs that converts the source code, which is high-level language, into machine codes so that the computers can understand them. The compiler translates the entire source code into machine code or bytecode before execution, whereas interpreter reads and executes the source code line by line. So it translates each line into machine code or bytecode. Some compilers generate an intermediate code like bytecode that is later executed by an interpreter or a virtual machine. Here, errors are often detected and reported immediately after the interpreter encounters them in the code, which allows for quick debugging. And this was all about the basic difference between compiler and an interpreter. Whereas in Python, it uses an interpreter by default and it executes the code line by line. But Python also uses a form of compilation. It translates the source code into bytecode, which is a low level representation, before execution. This bytecode can be executed by Python virtual machine. So in Python, there is a mix of interpretation and compilation, combining the benefits of both approaches. Now let's see the workings of Python interpreter. And this is the internal working of Python. Python doesn't directly turn its code into machine language that the computer's hardware understands. Instead, it converts the code into bytecode, a sort of intermediary language. This bytecode is stored in files with .pyc or .pyo extensions. The bytecode is not directly readable by CPU, it is a specific format for Python. To execute this bytecode, we need an interpreter called Python Virtual Machine (PVM). So the process goes like this: write Python code, Python compiler converts it into bytecode. The bytecode is stored in .pyc or .pyo files. The Python virtual machine interprets and executes the bytecode. Now let's see the steps involved in process of writing, compiling and executing the Python code. First, we write the human readable Python code in code editor. This is where the program begins its execution. Now save the code as .py file. Now the .py file contains instructions for the computer written in human readable language. Next, the compilation stage. Python doesn't directly compile your code into machine code, instead it generates bytecode. Syntax errors are checked during compilation. The .pyc file, which is a bytecode, is then generated. Then the bytecode is processed by Python Virtual Machine (PVM). PVM is an interpreter that reads and executes bytecode line by line. PVM translates bytecode into machine code, which is optimized for specific machines. Finally, the program execution. CPU executes the machine code. The program performs the task and computations as scripted in the code editor. Next up, let's see how to install and run Python on Windows. Installing Python on Windows is a slightly longer process when compared to installing Python on Linux. To get started working with Python 3, you need access to the Python interpreter. There are several common ways to accomplish this. Python can be obtained from Python Software Foundation website at python.org. Typically, that involves downloading the appropriate installer for your operating system and running it on your machine. Linux provides a package manager which can be run to install Python. On Mac OS, the best way to install Python 3 is installing the package manager called Homebrew. On mobile operating systems like Android and iOS, you can install apps that provide Python programming environment. Alternatively, there are several websites that allow you to access a Python interpreter online without installing anything on your computer. Now let's take a look at how to install Python 3 on Windows. Open a browser window, go to python.org, click any of the link for Python 3 release. For Windows, you can choose either the 32-bit or 64-bit installer. Once you have chosen and downloaded the installer, simply run the downloaded file. Then just click Install Now. Now installation of Python is completed. Now let's see how to run Python in the command prompt. To open command prompt, type cmd and hit enter. Now type Python to enter the Python interpreter. I'm getting this error in command prompt, which means the system is unable to find the Python executable in its current set of directories. Make sure the directory where Python is installed is included in the system's path environment variable. We can check this by typing echo space %path% in the command prompt. And this will look for the directory containing the Python executable. And this is the path where the Python exe file is found. You can manually add Python to the path. For that, find the Python installation directory. In our case, this is the path. Copy this path. Go to desktop, right click the computer icon, select properties, choose advanced system settings, select environment variables, click new and paste the path to the Python directory. And finally click OK to close the window. So after performing these steps, you should be able to run Python commands in command prompt. Now in command prompt, type Python and press enter. Now you are in Python interpreter and you can run some Python scripts. To exit the interpreter, type exit. And so far we have learned how to install Python and run Python scripts using command prompt. And now we will explore the Python's unique features as an interpreted and object-oriented programming language. In the realm of programming languages, we often categorize them into compiled and interpreted. Python falls into the interpreted category. But what does that mean? An interpreted language like Python executes the code line by line without the need for a separate compilation step. This results in faster development cycles, allowing developers to see immediate results and iterate more efficiently. Python's interpreted nature brings several advantages. First, we have rapid development. Python's interpreted nature and dynamic typing enable developers to quickly iterate over the code changes and sees the result immediately. Next, ease of debugging. Debugging in Python is simplified due to its interpreted nature, allowing for direct execution of code. And this streamlined process facilitates a more straightforward and efficient debugging experience. Next up, platform independence. Python's platform independence is a result of its interpreted-based execution. This characteristic aligns with the write once, run anywhere philosophy, which allows developers to create code that can be executed on different platforms without modifications. Now let's delve into Python's support for object-oriented programming. In OOP, code is organized into objects, which are instances of classes. Python embraces this paradigm, making it versatile and modular. Python supports key OOP concepts. Let's break down each of them. First, classes. Classes are the blueprints or templates that define the structure and behavior of an object, whereas objects are instances of classes. They encapsulate data and behavior. Next, Encapsulation. The bundling of data and methods that operate on data within a class is called encapsulation. Encapsulation hides the internal details of an object and only expose a well-defined interface. Next up, inheritance. This is a mechanism that allows a new class to inherit attributes and methods from an existing class. Moving further, we have polymorphism. The ability of an object to take on different forms or to be used in a unified way is called polymorphism. And it can be achieved through method overriding or operator overloading. Also, it enhances code flexibility and readability. And finally, it supports abstraction. It is an essential concept in object-oriented programming. Abstraction is process of hiding complex implementation details and exposing only the necessary functionalities. In Python, it is achieved through the use of abstract classes and interfaces. Object-oriented programming in Python provides several benefits, which are code organization, code reusability, and maintainability. First, code organization. Classes and objects promote a modular and organized code structure. Code reusability. Inheritance allows the reuse of code from existing classes. Maintainability. OOP principles make code more maintainable and scalable. And so far we have seen Python's OOPs concepts. Now we will learn the difference between interactive mode and script mode. In Python there are two options or methods for running a code, which are interactive mode and script mode. Interactive mode is also known as shell mode. Also it is known as REPL, which provides a quick way of running blocks of code or a single line of code. Read, eval, print, loop. It is a simple interactive computer programming environment that takes single input, executes them, and returns the result to the user. A program written in REPL environment is executed piecewise. To access the Python shell, type IDLE, open it, and here comes the interactive window. And this symbol is the prompt of interactive Python interpreter. And this symbol indicates that the Python shell is ready to execute and send your commands to the Python interpreter. The result is immediately displayed on the Python shell as soon as the Python interpreter interprets the command. To run your Python statements, just type them and hit enter key. You will get the results immediately. And here are some examples. We can also run multiple statements on Python shell. Let's see an example for that. And here we declare many variables and access them later. So with this method you can run multiple statements without having to create and save a script. Let's see one more example to run multiple statements. The two print statements have been indented using 4 spaces. Just like script mode, if you don't indent properly, you will get an error. Also, to get the output after the last print statement, you should press the enter key twice without typing anything. Also, you can get help to the particular command in interactive mode. Just type the help command on the shell and hit enter key, and you will get the following. And next, the script mode. Script mode is also known as program mode. If you need to write a long piece of Python code or your Python script spans multiple files, interactive mode is not recommended. So the script mode is used when an user is working with more than one single code or a block of code. In script mode, you write your Python code in a script file with a .py extension and then execute the entire script. Now let's run a Python code in script mode. In interactive window, select file menu. In that, select new file. Write a Python code. Now save the file. Now it has been saved. Now run the file and you can see the output in interactive window. In both modes, Python uses a combination of interpreter and compiler techniques to execute the code. The interactive mode is useful for testing code snippets and exploring features, while the script mode is used for larger programs and projects. And that's all for this session. Thank you so much.